bed flips are always super fascinating, so I want to hear about like how you use a scythe to actually clear this bed.
Yeah. So this bed, I'm going to be using a scythe because essentially the arugula has grown a little bit too big for me to really come in here with a wheel hoe. Like if I were just to use a wheel hoe, it's kind of like hitting a wall because it's just too tall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down with the scythe and then rake out that material, and then I'll come in with the little bit that's left, and then I'll go ahead and wheel hoe that. So yeah, this scythe here is actually European style. You guys might notice it has the straight shaft. I think the American scythes are more, have the bend to them. This is actually preferred by Michael Phillips. That's why I started using the European style. They say it's a little easier on the body. You can stay a little bit more upright when you use it. But yeah, just a really old school, tried and true farm tool here. A lot of people have gotten away from using these. They feel that, weed eater's better, but I really feel that if you get really good with this, there's an art to it, but you can be just as efficient or better than using like a weed whacker or some mechanized version. And in particular, like for cover crop, if you're really trying to have the material just fall directly on the bed, using the scythe is really perfect for that. Because when you cut it, everything just drops directly where it's at, whereas with the weed eater, it's like throwing stuff everywhere. So that's one of the advantages for that.
So are there crops that you can use it for and can't use it for? Like in this case, it's arugula, and if you cut that low enough, it's going to terminate.
Yeah.
And then in certain cover crops, if they're in the milk stage, they're going to terminate.
Yeah.
But are there crops that you wouldn't use the scythe for in terms of bed flips?
Bed flips? I mean, in general, I use the scythe only for cutting cover crop and for basically baby greens beds that have grown too tall. And other than that, I really don't use it that much.
Okay.
It's mostly just I'll use a wheel hoe
right.
to clear the bed. But yeah, this is just for any plant. There's not really any in particular. It's just anything that is like really densely planted and has gotten too tall for the wheel hoe to be effective anymore.
Okay. Yeah, do you want to demo that for us?
Yeah, I'll show you guys how to do this.
Are there any techniques that you can talk about before you start swinging that thing?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, there's an art to it, and I don't even know if I am completely the best example, but I've gotten a little better over the years. But it's really kind of a hip twisting motion, and if you have a real sharp blade, you really don't have to put a whole lot of strength into it. It's more the motion and the swing itself, and it just makes a real smooth cut. So a lot of people think that it's like, really hard to use and really high labor, but it's actually, I think, really good for the body. It's really meditative on the mind when you're using this tool, and there's a lot to be said about that aspect of it.
Right, in comparison to a weed whacker, it's significantly less noisy.
Yeah, for sure.
And jarring. I mean, using a weed whacker is very physically. That jar it can wear you out. Just that motion.
It does. And you're sitting there like breathing in the exhaust.
Yeah.
And using gas. Then you have to worry about maybe it breaking down and maintenance. You do have to maintain this too. You got to keep it really sharp. So yeah, it just depends kind of what you're into and what you prefer. But I've been having good results with this. I know Michael Phillips, he clears his whole orchard every year with the scythe. He just goes around and
the cover crops.
Cover crops and just all the grasses and stuff around his trees. So
that's great.
Yeah. So yeah, should we demo this then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just real simple movement. And then once it's cut like that, you just come in with the rake.
So you're probably cutting it, what, like an inch or two above the ground?
Yeah, I try to stay right above the ground. And you can see there's still a little bit of material there. So now I'll come in and just real quickly wheel hoe that once I clear out all the material. And then after that, add compost and replant it.
All right, now can Jesse try it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first thing I noticed just picking it up, like we've used the weed whacker a lot of times, so this is significantly lighter. Like it's amazing. It doesn't even really feel like there's anything in your hands. And it also feels immediately comfortable, just the curve of, like I've used the other side, the American side, but this one just feels comfortable immediately. And that one didn't. It didn't feel natural. Like this one, this is nice. All right.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're more European, is that what you're saying?
I'm a little bit more European.
All right.
All right. Am I supposed to throw it like that? It's
That's what
fine.
I'm gonna do. But yeah, if you do like more like twisting your hips, kind of like a boom.
Oh, okay, because I'm using my
Boom.
arms too much, right?
Yeah, I think you're using too much arm. There's an art to it.
I mean, let's see how I did with the rake.
Yeah.
All right.
Gonna hire Jesse?
See, but yeah, I guess there's a nice big chunk, I guess.
I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right, because you're just really trying to clear the density so
That's
that you
it.
can push the wheel hoe through,
Yeah,
right?
that's it. Like, that is all at a point now that the wheel hoe will be efficient.
And then you would take all this into wheelbarrows and you take it to your compost pile, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
I either feed it to my chickens
Or feed it to chicken.
or whatever else just goes in the compost pile. And we turn it back into soil.
Yeah, that's super simple.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward.
I have to say, like, the weed whacker is an effective method. And it doesn't require then wheel hoeing, generally speaking, because
Yeah.
you can get pretty precise. And with that, I would assume the lower you get, the more you actually hit the soil, you
Right.
dull your blade. And you do that with a weed whacker, but it's, you know, it's got so much power behind it, the dull blade is not going to affect you as much.
Right.
But it's so, I mean, it definitely feels better to do it that way. Like I don't have to put on earmuffs. That's nice. It's light.
Yeah.
It's very physically demanding, and it's actually faster, this part, than it is with a weed whacker.
Yeah, I've seen videos of like professional scythers matched up against a weed eater, just in like an open weed field, and the dude with the scythe is actually more efficient and more quick than the guy with the weed eater.
Right, and more
So-
effective. I mean, probably more effective too. Just
More effective.
like
Yeah.
having it be more even.
Yeah, so if you get good at it, you can get really quick. That is a good point, how with the weed eater you can bring it all the way down probably to the soil level.
Right, which
So-
terminates your crop. So even if
Yeah.
you don't get rid of the whole thing,
Yeah.
but I wonder if there's not an option. You know. Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing, is that it's going to take a second tool, but still overall, I think you're not losing a lot of time, even
Yeah.
with that second tool coming in to clip the plants at the soil level.